Hello, my friends, again. I'm Dr. Stephen Clark Bradley, and this is what I think. This is part 3 of the series I've been doing of the results, the very disastrous results that would take place if the Democrat-Socialists win this election and win both parties of both houses of Congress and the presidency. And I wanted just to conclude this with some very important ideas that I've noticed over this election. There was a time when I used to consider Joe Biden to be quite a moderate man. I always found him silly. I mean, he's a plagiarist. He always stole people's stuff, but he was always sort of a good guy. We always thought that, Joe Biden, he's kind of silly. We'd never vote for him for president, but he seemed to love the country. And I believe he actually did. But of course, if you spend 8 years with Barack Hussein Obama, a pure, terrible person and an American-hating man, it would transform you into an American hater as well. And I believe that's what's happened to Joe Biden. And on top of that, he's gotten very old, senile, and he has no power, and he has no authority in his own campaign. He's doing what he's told to do. It's obvious. And I'm very sure that you agree with me. I mean, it's clear. It's as clear as it can be. He can't say a sentence correctly. I'm 61. I'm not as old as him, but I haven't hit senility yet. If it does, I certainly wouldn't be trying to run for president when I come to the point of realizing I can't make a complete sentence without an error at every 2 sentences. He didn't want to run for president. Now, I want to ask you, do you really think he wanted Kamala Harris for his vice presidential running mate? Of course not. Of all the people, all the Democrat-Socialists that ran for president in this election, she was the one that offended him the most, that was the rudest to him, the most direct. And basically, Kamala Harris said, Joe Biden, you're a racist. That's what she did. She called him a racist. And he didn't like it. You could tell he was angry. But why did he choose her? You think he wanted her? He didn't choose her. He was told to accept her because Joe Biden is not really running for president. Joe Biden is the catalyst, as I said in the last video, that opens the door, that pushes the door open to let in all the evil of socialism into our government that will destroy the freedom that we all loved and that somehow we got rid of, if that happens. As I said before, I'm very hopeful, and I'm very sure that we will win. But we need to look not just at the positive, but at the possible negative that could transpire right under our noses if we're not careful. Unfortunately, there are many like you and me who love America, but unfortunately, there are many who do not. I thank God for all of you who love America, who love freedom, who love the Constitution, who love our president, because I have to tell you, even I didn't like Barack Obama when he was president, but I took him as my president. I criticized him. I wrote against him, but he was my president because I knew in 4 to 8 years I can get rid of him. But now it's not that way anymore. We have many people who not only hate Donald Trump, but hate the Constitution, hate the system on which we govern and in which we live, and want it gone, not changed, but obliterated, because they hate what we stand for. And we just can't let it go forward. So he didn't choose Kamala Harris. Biden didn't. She was chosen for him. Kamala Harris has the most liberal, socialist-based voting record in Congress, in the House of Representatives, and in the Senate. If you add them all up, she has voted for more laws that are socialist-based than anybody else. So she was chosen for this very purpose. Now, let's go back for a minute. Let's do a little bit of searching in our minds and do a little bit of mental acrobatics and mental mathematics and figure something out. Before the South Carolina presidential primary, Democrat primary, Joe Biden was doing terribly. I mean, his debates were terrible. I mean, he's talking about record players and, all kinds of crazy stuff. He was just blowing it. Even Cory Booker at one time said, I have to doubt his ability mentally to do this job. And he was running against him. I mean, they were all criticizing his mental capacity, And then his campaign, he couldn't speak. That one where he says, what it says in the Constitution, that we're all created by that thing. The thing. He couldn't even do that. I mean, he couldn't speak. He was getting angry at people, yelling at people. And then all of a sudden, it's the South Carolina primary. And he wins it handily. I mean, he won it so big. Actually, he got 48.65% of the vote. And Bernie Sanders got 19.77%. I think on that very important day in the Democrat Party, they realized that there was no way they were going to carry out their socialist goals and bring about a socialist revolution in America with Bernie Sanders still in the race. There was no way that Bernie Sanders could ever be elected in a normal race running for president, because here this senile old man, Joe Biden, who can't even get two words together straight, has just wiped him out in the South Carolina primary. That day, it is obvious, it is clear, it is so easy to determine. That day, a deal was made. Think about it. After that primary, not only Bernie Sanders said, I'm getting out of the race, and threw his support behind senile Joe, all the other, she had already dropped out because nobody liked her. I don't know why she was chosen except for her philosophy. But all the other candidates systematically, one by one, like dominoes, fell and said, we're stopping our campaign and we're throwing our support behind Joe Biden. Don't you find that suspicious? I do. That means they put together a deal that they threw away their desire to be out front as a candidate for president because they knew the only way they could bring in the changes, the ultimate destruction of the Constitution, and the ultimate implantation of socialism was to put Joe Biden out in front, and to be the real power behind the throne would be Bernie Sanders, AOC, Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, and all of these traitors of the United States of America. That's what happened. That did not happen just all of a sudden. That was a plan, and it worked pretty well. So they didn't care if he stays in his basement because he has no authority anyway. But now they're bringing him out, and he's out there, and he's running, and he's talking, and he's still making the same stupid mistakes. And we'll see exactly what takes place with this. But I can tell you right now, none of this happened by happenstance. This happened by a plan, a concerted effort to use Joe Biden as the conduit. There's a movie called Enemy at the Gate, and it's about the invasion of Russia by Germany during World War II. And then there's a movie called Troy, and a history of Troy, when they said they wanted to make peace and make people's lives better. And they built this beautiful Trojan horse, and inside that horse was the enemy lying wait to infiltrate the nation and destroy them all. And it happened. We can't let it happen here. Keep your powder dry. Keep your clips loaded. Keep your guns clean. Keep your eye trained. Keep your ears in tune. And keep your heart ready. Because The moment has come. If these people win, you will be called upon, as will I. Are you going to let it die? It's a moment of destiny, America. And our destiny is in our hands. What are you going to do? We still have time. And as I said, I very believe wholeheartedly that we will win this election. Donald Trump is a great man. And of course, they're putting out these stories now that he said bad things about our soldiers. You know it's not true. Donald Trump came out himself and said, as the election gets closer, more of this type of thing will come out because they want to harm me, make me look bad. And of course, it breaks his heart. But he's a tough guy. And we need to be tough with him. You know, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But the words are gone now. Now it's time for the sticks and stones. And thank God, we own most of the sticks and stones. The Second Amendment was there for when a government became tyrannical and when it became no longer salvageable and it became the actual enemy of the people they rule over. And if the Democrat-Socialist wins, that's exactly where we are. Keep your powder dry. Keep your clips loaded. Keep your eye trained. Keep your ear alert. And keep your heart ready, because it's time to take our nation back. God bless you all. I hope these 3 videos help you to really focus on where we are, what's before us, and what we might be called upon to do to save the nation. As Donald Trump said several times, and as we must agree and must make his words true, America will never be a socialist nation. We cannot let it happen. It's time to be ready. First of all, be ready to vote. Don't stay home. Not voting, is voting for Joe Biden. And it's time to get your neighbors to vote. It's time to no longer be afraid to say you support Donald Trump. And it's time to take a stand. If we don't take a stand now, we'll only ever be allowed to take a seat without a voice. It's time now. Thank you very much for listening to me. I spoke very strongly today because that's what's in my heart. And thank God we're still a free nation and we can always say what's in our hearts. Unless we continue to do so, that right will be taken away. Exercise your rights. Stand up for your rights. Pray to God to save our country and help us. Let us all stand together and make America greater than ever before. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.